Hey, what's going on everyone? Alex here with Freedom Mowers. Hope you all are doing great. Today we've got another project here. I've got a Craftsman riding mower yesterday I picked up for $100, and it's got some stuff going on with the engine, so let's see what's going on with it, have some fun, and hopefully get this thing going. And here's what we got. Got a Craftsman DLT3000. It's a 6-speed with the 42-inch cutting deck. Picked this up yesterday, which was Monday. Today is Tuesday, the 1st of August. This came with the full bagger setup, 2-bin hard bag. It looks like this tractor's been maintained pretty well over the years. We'll check on the engine to see what the year is. Seat's kind of been peeling up. He said he tried to re-glue it a couple years ago. Yeah, I mean, pretty standard for your older Craftsman. I mean, it's a decent machine. Guy said he did a recent oil change in it, which filter looks brand new. Fuel line was disconnected. Show you guys what's going on with this here in a minute. And that's caked with oil. Looks like a 2004 0830. Get this oil off my finger. So what's going on with this is the battery is actually from, if you guys can see it, 921. So the battery's not too old, and I did put a jumper pack on this yesterday. So it's a fairly common issue on the intakes. I'm really hoping that it's not going to be a camshaft, but we can't get over the compression stroke on here. The guy said that he was like jump starting this thing off his truck while he was revving it up and all kinds of stuff, and he was tired of dealing with it. He had bought another mower and he was ready to have this one go. So could be a couple things. Could be hydro lock cylinder, either fuel down in the combustion chamber. We could have valve lash issues, or we could be looking at a compression release issue on the camshaft, which is pretty common on these intakes. But I figured for $100, this machine would be worth it. I think in this area with a full bin bagger and everything on it, this should be like maybe a $600 to $700 mower, all fixed up and looking good. So let me get the bagger set up off from it, and we'll pull this thing into the shop and let's get started trying to figure out what's going on. Alright, got you guys in the shop. Went ahead and pulled it in here today this way so that hopefully we can see a little bit better with the lighting, and turn the fans down, but I gotta have them on because it's over 90 already and I know it's hotter in here. So first things first, give a little check ski here, the Earl. Before we do anything and blow it up. So it's about halfway on the indicator, so should be good within range. Definitely looks like it's been leaking quite a bit here on the valve cover. Let's check the air filter real quick. It's not terrible, but could use a little clean out. Alright, let me grab the jumper pack. I'll show you guys what's going on with this. Alright, jumper pack's hooked up. Got the brakes set, and here we go. So we got one rotation, and then it, oh my lord, you can't turn that over by hand. So real quick, in this situation, I would, first just check your connections on your battery, see what you got, make sure that everything's good there. I'm gonna go ahead and get the multimeter and make sure that we're at least getting 12 volts to the starter, make sure that starter's getting power, and then we'll go ahead and pull out this spark plug and see if it'll actually crank over without the plug in it. Alright, well I tested the starter. We've got 12 volts there. The battery itself in here had like 11.8, and then my jumper pack was a little over 12. So we should have plenty of power. Oh my lord. Plug looks pretty clean on here. I mean, it looks almost new, so it's NGK. So let's go ahead and alright, should be good to crank. So no issues as far as cranking over with the plug out. So next step, definitely was not hydro locked, because if it was, this thing would be shooting gas all over the place. Let's go ahead and pop the valve cover off here, take a look to see what the valve lash is, and we can also look at the push rod and see if the compression release is working. I'll show you guys how to check that. Got a little towel set up down here for oil to drip. It's 4 3/8 on these. Alright, so the bottom one on these is actually your intake, and the top one is your exhaust. So let's go ahead, and I'm gonna turn the engine over till I get some till I'm able to apply pressure on the exhaust valve, and that will free up and give us our slack on this one, and we can check the lash on here. Alright, so we've got that one down. Oh yeah, this thing is super sloppy. Let me see if I can show you all the gap on this. I don't even have to get the feeler gauges out to see that. See if I can get you in here good enough. Hard to see, but there's a huge gap there. This might be promising, we'll see. Alright, so to see if the compression release is working, we're gonna watch this push rod. I'll try to get it right in the spot where you're supposed to see it, but basically you'll see the push rod just have a slight little in and out, and that's your compression release bumping off that excess compression. So see if I can get us right on that spot. Just gotta get it. I think it was right there. Hold on, let me see if I can get y'all a good view of it while I'm turning this over. Close I can get you in here. Alright, so take a look. Where are we at? Alright. It's gonna be hard to see, but it's right there. I don't know if you guys can see that little bump. That is the compression release working, so awesome. Alright, well, let's now I'll have to check both of these. We'll do a valve adjustment on this, and hopefully that'll be our problem. It's just a valve lash issue. This thing's like a mile out of spec, so let me get the tools out, my feeler gauges and everything, and we'll get these valves set and hopefully get this thing turning over. Alright, here we go. I've got a, I normally set mine to 4,000ths on these intakes. And the way I do the valve adjustment, as far as, you know, getting the pressure off from each one, that's up to you how you want to do it. There's tons of videos on valve adjustments. This is just the way I do it. So we'll go ahead and get the intake. So just got to get the, yeah, the thing wasn't even that tight anyway. That one's tight. All right, so just have to get the locking star or grub screw, whatever you want to call that, out, and then go ahead and turn this in so I get a nice slight drag on it. That feels pretty good right there. Make sure this is actually tight this time. Alright. Spin it over and get the other one closed. Yeah, see, this one feels pretty good already. Adjusted a hair. Alright. Should be good right there. So let me go ahead and button. I'm just going to put the cover back on and we will throw the plug back in here and probably hit it with some carb spray, because the guy told me he left the seat up, so there might be water in the tank and I don't want to contaminate it if I don't have to. So I'll button this up and see if we can get this thing turning over. Alright, I got the cover back on and plug back in. I threw my inline spark tester on here so that we can check and make sure we got spark if this thing doesn't kick over on some spray. So let's go ahead and open that up. Should be good. Give it a little laughing gas here. So our brake's still set. All right. That. Go ahead and let's make sure our choke's working. All right, let's give it a shot. Awesome. Well, I guess we don't need to look for spark. Sweet. Sounded good too. I didn't hear any noises so far, knocking or anything like that. Awesome, awesome. Dang. Well, that was easy fix if you know what you're looking for. Could have been a camshaft though. I mean, honestly, it's always a roll of the dice. I mean, these compression release on the cams, they go bad all the time. I mean, I've had quite a few, and then you're pulling the motor, pulling the sump, getting the camshaft out. You got to reseal the sump and everything on it, so it's not always going to be an easy task. I think what we're gonna do next, because I did look, there is fuel in the tank. We'll hook back up the fuel line. I'm gonna disconnect it from the carburetor, and we'll go ahead and turn the engine over and start pumping some fuel, or make sure it's pumping. We'll see if it's pumping out, and if there's any water in it, then we're gonna be draining this whole tank out. And then most likely a carb clean. I have no idea how long this has been sitting, so. All right, let me get set up to take a fuel sample. Alright, I got that fuel line connected back here, and then I've got the one that's going to the carburetor disconnected, so show you guys what's going on. Go ahead and crank this for a minute. Got like no good way to hold this. Oh my. That's not promising. I'm surprised this thing's still running. I don't know if that's still gas in the carb or that spray. I don't think the carb spray would have made it run that long. Yeah, I think that's plenty of sample. Show you guys what I'm looking at here. It's not good. See if you guys can see that in there. Pretty sure that's about 90% water. Gonna let this settle for a minute, but barely even smells like gas. And there's a ton of crap in there too, so I don't know whether that's just stuff that was caught in the gas line. That looks pretty rough. There's definitely a ton of water in here. Yeah, that's mostly water. Alright, let me figure out how we're going to drain this tank out. Alright, well, to save some time, I ended up pulling that line just back through a little bit. It was kind of a pain. I had to get my hand back there and pull the line back through the frame. And we are draining now, though. This was actually, I poured this out of that white container, and there's probably like a 1/16 of an inch of fuel on the top, and the rest is all water. So yeah, this thing's got a ton of water in it. So I am going to drain this all the way out, and then probably what I'll do is just take a rag and my air hose and blow this, try to pressurize the tank and blow it all the way out the best I can, and then we'll go ahead and reroute fuel line back through and pump some through, make sure we got clean fuel coming through, and we'll move forward from there. Alright, well, be thankful I spared y'all the time, because that was about 30 minutes of wrestling gas line through the, fishing it through the frame and trying to get all that water out of there. We ended up with, there was a little bit of oil in the bottom of that container, so that's why it's as brown as it is, but that's how much fuel came out and what's in there. And I just cleaned out this Pyrex, so we'll go ahead and crank it a little bit and make sure that we flush the lines out, make sure we got some fresh gas coming through, and see if we can get this thing to crank up. Give the starter a rest and do this a couple more times. There's definitely still a bit of water. Could have been what was in the fuel pump, and just a little bit left in the lines. Alright, got the fuel line hooked up. I flushed this thing about 5 more times just to keep pumping it, make sure that we don't have any moisture, but if we need to, I'll if it causes any issues, I'll go ahead and just drop the bowl in the carburetor, and we can just see if there's anything else in it. But I believe I've got everything out. I blew air through the tank, I tried to dry everything, pump it, flush it. So got some fresh fuel in here, line's hooked up. Might have to prime up the carburetor a little bit to fill the bowl before it starts, but we'll see. So here we go, moment of truth. Nice. Hell yeah. See if this thing will fire back up on its own battery. Nope. I think that connection, yeah, one of these connections, well, both of these connections are crappy on here, so I'll double check that too. Ugh. Oh no. We were so close. It's all good. I gotta get those connections cleaned up and charge that battery with it. Sweet. Awesome. Well, let me check to see this engagement on the deck. See how we're looking. Oh yeah. There's just those blade brakes, hopefully, scratching on there. Yeah. Spindles feel all right. Sweet. Well, let me go ahead and tighten up these connections on here, and I'll throw the hood back on it. We got to make sure that this thing's charging the battery for sure. I always seem to skip that step and it bites me in the backside. So we'll yeah, let me get everything set up and we'll start checking everything. But sounds good. Probably still gonna need a carb clean, but that's awesome. $100 machine. We ought to be able to hopefully turn this around to about $600 or $700 in a few hours time. All right, well, I got the hood on here, hooked up the headlights. Was kind of interesting. I saw inside, let me show you all this headlight. There's an LED, the other one's just got the standard bulb, so I've never seen the LEDs inside the Mower headlights. And don't be like me, turn your charger off before you disconnect it. Been charging this up for probably about a half an hour. Alright, so let's give this thing a whirl. Take it for a test drive. Kick on the mower deck and make sure everything works. And then I'm gonna give this thing a pressure wash and make a little list of what all it needs to actually finish this thing up and get it looking good and ready to go to a new home. So first, let's see if it'll crank. see what's going on with the headlights. Blaze has certainly seen better days. I don't have the chute for it, but I have a mulch cover and the bagger, so I probably have an extra chute off in the pile of mowers. Sounds good though. Side one down just fine. I'm still gonna go through and clean the carb. I'm gonna take this over and get it pressure washed, and we'll take a look, see what else is going on with it, and we'll check the charging system on it as well. So awesome. All right, well, I just finished pressure washing it, and this thing cleaned up pretty darn nice. I still go through these machines quite a bit more as far as the cleaning and polishing and everything like that, but just a quick degrease of the engine and pressure wash got all of that old oil off the front, and got the engine shroud all cleaned up, all the oil off the engine. Everything looks pretty darn good in there. Wheels came out real nice and white. There's a little bit of surface rust on that front one, but overall this looks really good. Still got to get this adhesive off the hood. As you guys can see, this thing cleaned up pretty darn nice, and then when I get all the finishing touches on it, this thing's gonna look brand new. So what do we have left on this machine? Well, I'm probably gonna leave you guys here with it, and I might make a short of when I'm all the way done. But basically, we've gone through, we've got this thing up and running, and the deck turns on, everything is good, transmission's good. I did check the charging system, and it is putting out proper voltage. We're about like 12.4, 12.5, which the only thing that needs to power on this machine is the fuel solenoid and the headlight switch. I don't know if you guys were yelling at me earlier or not when I couldn't figure out the headlights working, but there's actually a switch on this one. I'm not used to that. So overall, this is going to be a sweet machine. We've got the bagger system for it, so I'll see if whoever wants to buy this wants the bagger or not. I am going to take off the deck, put on some new blades. I'm just going to grease the pivot point where the engagement is on it, so that the deck's nice and smooth when we engage it, and do a little touch-up paint on there. I am going to reseal the valve cover on here just to 100% make sure that we have no leaks. I will ultrasonic clean the carburetor and make sure that's 100%. But it does start, and I'll start it one more time for you guys. I mean, it does start in idle right now. Everything seems pretty good on it, but I just want to make sure it's 100%. Yeah, you can hear it kind of sputter a little bit. Show you guys the headlights. Of course, now it doesn't want to work. But other than that, it's just got a few little things to finish up on it and make sure it's 100%. So I really appreciate y'all checking out the channel, and like I always say, we've got tons more content. I mean, I just picked up probably like 4 or 5 push mowers, another DLT3000. I'm working on a Troy built over there at the moment, and there's like 40 something other mowers out here. I've got customer mowers coming in and out, so I'm trying to make content for y'all. It's very hot, and just having some fun. So I appreciate y'all checking out the channel, and as always, let freedom ring, let those small engines sing. I'll see you all next time.